Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today we are going to be looking at Fortuna Mining Corporation.
Oh,
Ticker symbol FSM.
that's right.
This is a company that has been generating a lot of buzz
Yeah, I know.
in the market recently. So
A lot of people talking about it.
we wanted to take a look and see if this is an opportunity
All this buzz is worth it?
or potentially a pitfall. So we'll be looking at all the different aspects of Fortuna Mining,
Absolutely.
both the technicals and the fundamentals,
Yeah,
to give you a better idea of what we're looking at.
absolutely. And I think one of the most exciting things about Fortuna Mining is their production numbers.
Absolutely. They announced record-breaking gold equivalent production for 2024
Next year.
of 455,958 ounces.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, how does that compare to their, competitors?
Well, it puts them
Probably
among the top
advantages.
producers in the entire peer group.
Okay, so that's a good sign, right?
Yeah. I mean, high production like that often leads to strong earnings growth,
Right.
which is what everybody wants.
Exactly. What investors are looking for.
So that includes 369,637 ounces of gold
Just gold.
and 3.7 million ounces of silver.
Okay. And on top of that, I was reading about their updated mineral reserve.
Yes, at their Séguéla mine.
Yeah, the Séguéla mine in Côte d'Ivoire.
Right.
They're reporting 1 million ounces of gold in proven and probable mineral reserve,
Wow.
plus over 500,000 ounces of new inferred resources.
Could you break down what those mean for listeners who might not be familiar with those terms?
Yeah, so proven and probable mineral reserves means that they're pretty darn sure that gold can be economically extracted.
Okay.
Like, they're pretty certain they can get it.
All right.
Inferred resources, on the other hand, we need some more data. We need more exploration,
Okay.
to be sure.
Gotcha.
But it's looking good.
So that's good for, potential future growth
Oh, yeah, definitely.
for the mine and for the company.
A lot of potential there.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the share buyback program.
Okay.
Fortuna Mining repurchased 6.4 million common shares
Okay.
at an average price of $4.70 per share,
All right.
totaling $30.5 million.
What does that tell us about the company's perspective on their own stock?
Well, share buyback programs are generally seen as a positive signal
Okay.
to the market.
Right.
It indicates that the company believes that their stock is undervalued.
Like they're buying it up on sale.
Yeah, and they're essentially reducing the number of outstanding shares,
Right.
which can boost earnings per share.
Making the stock more appealing to investors.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So now let's get into the technical analysis.
All right, let's look at the charts.
As of February 1st, 2025,
Okay.
FSM's stock price hit $5.07,
All right.
and it's trading above its key moving averages,
Okay.
including the 10-day, the 20-day, the 50-day, and the 200-day.
Now, for people who don't know,
Please,
what
just-
are moving averages?
Well, a moving average
Uh.
is essentially a way to smooth out the price data
Okay.
over a certain period of time.
Right.
So, for example,
Yeah.
the 50-day moving average
Yeah.
would be the average closing price
Gotcha.
over the past 50 days.
Right.
So when a stock is trading above its moving averages,
Yeah.
it's generally considered a bullish sign.
It suggests some positive momentum.
Exactly. And we're
Okay.
seeing even more
Okay.
to be excited about here,
Oh, really?
because we see the 50-day moving average has
Uh-huh.
crossed above
Okay.
the 200-day moving average.
I've heard of this.
A lot of traders call this a golden cross.
Golden cross.
It's often seen as a
Yeah.
strong confirmation of an upward trend.
Okay.
But we also need to look at
Of course.
the 14-day relative strength index,
Okay. The RSI.
or RSI,
Yes.
for FSM,
Okay.
which is currently sitting at 51.92.
Okay. What is that telling us?
So the RSI is an oscillator
Okay.
that measures the magnitude
Okay.
of recent price changes. To evaluate overbought or oversold conditions,
Okay.
imagine a scale from 0 to 100.
Right.
An RSI above 70 is often considered overbought.
Okay.
Below 30 is considered oversold.
All right.
So 51.92 puts it right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Neutral.
Yes. Not oversold.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, we also need to look at trading volume,
Okay.
because we've seen a noticeable increase in trading volume lately.
All right. So the average volume for FSM is around 7.6 million shares, but we've seen days significantly higher than that.
Yes. So what could that be telling us?
Well, I think increased volume, especially alongside rising prices, often signals, growing investor interest and confidence.
So more people are buying,
Yeah, more people are buying it up.
pushing the price higher. Yeah.
Exactly, increasing the demand.
So that's a good sign.
Yeah, that seems like a good sign.
And that, the RSI being neutral
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily contradict that.
It just means it's not moving too fast.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, we should also look at some other technical indicators,
Of course, always got to get the full picture.
like the average directional index,
Right.
or ADX,
Right.
and a pattern called the NR7.
NR7.
So what can those tell us?
So the ADX measures the strength of a trend regardless of its direction.
Okay.
Think of it like a speedometer
Gotcha.
for a stock's price movement.
Okay.
Higher ADX, stronger trend.
Got it.
Lower ADX, weaker trend.
Okay.
FSM's ADX currently sits at 12.65, which is relatively weak.
Okay.
But the plus DI at 25.62
Yeah.
is higher than the minus DI at 24.30.
Okay.
So that suggests the upward price movement
Yeah.
is a little stronger than the downward price movement.
Gotcha.
It's a bit of a tug of war, but the bulls are winning.
Okay. What about the NR7 pattern?
All right, so the NR7 pattern occurs when a stock trades within its narrowest range of the last 7 trading sessions.
Okay.
So it's like the stock is taking a breather,
Oh, sure.
consolidating before its next move.
Right.
It could be a sign of an impending breakout,
Uh-huh.
but we don't know which direction.
Okay. So taking all of these technical indicators into account,
Yeah.
we're seeing a moderate buy recommendation
Okay, moderate buy.
for FSM.
Right.
So there's positive momentum.
Okay.
It's trading above its key moving averages.
Yeah.
We have that intriguing increased volume,
Mm-hmm.
but we do need to look at the bigger picture.
Always has got to be cautious.
And we will get to that.
We will.
After a quick break,
Okay.
we'll be exploring Fortuna Mining's financial health,
All right.
profitability,
Yeah.
and how they're navigating the complexities of the mining industry.
I'm excited to dig into that.
We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. So let's take a look at Fortuna Mining's financials.
All right, so they recently announced earnings per share of C.22,
Canadian dollars?
which actually beat analyst expectations of C.15 cents.
Okay, so they exceeded expectations. That's a good sign.
It is. What other financial highlights stand out to you?
Hmm.
I'm seeing here
Yeah.
that their return on equity is only at 1%,
Okay.
and their net margin is only 0.2%.
Well.
I'm seeing here
Yeah.
that their return on equity is only at 1%,
Okay.
and their net margin is only 0.2%.
Yeah, those numbers are a bit low.
Yeah. Should investors be concerned about that?
Well, it's true. Those are relatively low.
Yeah.
But you have to consider the context of the mining industry.
Right.
Mining companies often operate with thinner margins,
Oh, God.
especially when they're investing a lot in growth.
Speaking of investments,
Yeah.
I was reading that they've been spending more on machinery.
Yeah, they're putting money back into the business.
So what kind of implications does that have?
Well, it shows they're committed to boosting their production
Okay.
and becoming more efficient.
Right.
But it does mean higher costs in the short term.
So it's a bit of a balancing act.
Exactly. Short-term pain for long-term gain.
Right. Now, how about their debt situation?
Yeah, their long-term debt is currently at $122 million.
It's a lot of debt.
Yeah, but it's manageable,
Yeah.
considering their asset base is over $2 billion.
So it's all relative.
Exactly. Their quick ratio is 0.5, and their current ratio is 1.5.
Okay. For our listeners who might not be familiar with those terms, could you break those down a little bit?
Sure. So the quick ratio measures the company's ability to pay off short-term liabilities with their most liquid assets.
Okay.
A quick ratio of 1 or higher is generally considered healthy.
Right.
So Fortuna's at 0.5 suggests they might face challenges meeting short-term obligations.
Gotcha.
The current ratio is similar, but includes all current assets.
So that's a little bit better.
Right. It's at 1.5, which means they can cover their short-term liabilities, but there's not a lot of wiggle room.
So their debt level seems manageable overall,
Yeah, I'd say so.
but their liquidity could be stronger.
Yeah, there's room for improvement there.
But are they profitable?
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
And the good news is their gross margins have improved to 26.9%.
Wow. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, it means they're keeping a larger portion of their revenue after accounting for production costs.
Is this connected to those global industrial shifts we talked about earlier?
Absolutely. As economies grow, demand for raw materials like gold and silver increases.
So that's good news for Fortuna.
It is. But there are challenges too.
Right, like the regulatory hurdles and operational delays we mentioned.
Yeah, those can really impact a mining company.
So how's Fortuna dealing with all of that?
Well, despite these hurdles, their operating revenue has increased to $260 million in the second quarter of 2024.
So they seem to be managing it pretty well.
It seems so. They're finding ways to overcome those challenges.
Okay, so we've discussed a lot,
We have.
from record production,
Mm-hmm.
share buybacks,
Yep.
technical indicators,
Right.
to financials.
Indeed.
So what are some of the key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, Fortuna Mining is a company with a lot of potential.
Okay.
Strong production, promising exploration findings, and a share buyback program that shows they believe in themselves.
But there are
Yeah,
risks
of course.
associated with any investment.
Especially in the mining industry, which can be very cyclical.
So it's not a guaranteed win.
Absolutely not.
So what advice would you give to investors considering Fortuna Mining?
I would say do your own research.
Right.
Consult with a financial advisor if needed.
Okay.
And most importantly, carefully assess your own risk tolerance.
That's good advice.
Investing always involves risk.
Right. So to wrap things up,
Okay.
what's a question our listeners could ponder?
How about this? How well positioned is Fortuna Mining to capitalize on those global industrial shifts
Okay.
and become a leader in the mining industry?
That's a great question to consider.
It is. It's all about the future.
So with Fortuna Mining Corporation, ticker symbol FSM,
FSM.
do your own research
Absolutely.
and consider if this is the right investment for you.
That's right. Make informed decisions.
All right, that wraps up our conversation on Fortuna Mining.
Thanks for joining us.
If you enjoyed this episode of Investing Talk Podcast,
Yes.
please hit that subscribe button
And tell a friend.
and leave us a comment below with your thoughts.
We love hearing from you.
Until next time.
Happy investing.
That's a really interesting question to think about.
It is. You know, as we wrap up our discussion on Fortuna Mining Corporation,
Ticker symbol FFS.
FSM,
That's right.
investing in mining companies can be a bit tricky,
Yeah, can be a bit complex.
but it can also be very rewarding.
Especially right now with this increasing demand for resources.
Exactly. So we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah, we really have.
You know, we looked at those amazing production numbers,
Record-breaking?
their share buyback program.
Yeah, they seem pretty confident.
We went through all the different technical indicators.
We did.
And of course, we had to look at those financial fundamentals.
Absolutely. Got to look at the whole picture.
And we talked about how Fortuna fits into, the bigger picture.
Right. How they're navigating all the challenges and opportunities in the mining industry.
So our goal here is to help you make informed investment decisions,
Exactly. We want to give you the tools and the knowledge
provide valuable insights.
so you can make the best choices for your portfolio.
But remember,
Yeah.
this is not financial advice. This is just for informational purposes only.
Do your own research.
Always a good idea.
Talk to a financial advisor if you need to.
Absolutely.
And really think about your own risk tolerance.
Right, because investing always carries some risk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we hope this conversation has given you a better understanding of Fortuna Mining Corporation
Yeah, it's a fascinating company.
and whether or not it's a company worth watching.
Potentially a good opportunity.
If you enjoyed this episode of Investing Talk Podcast,
Don't forget.
please hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, subscribe.
Share this episode with your friends and colleagues
Hello, everyone.
and leave a comment below.
Yeah, we love hearing from you.
We want to know your thoughts on Fortuna Mining
What do you think?
or any other companies you'd like us to cover in future episodes.
Always looking for new ideas.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in.
Until next time.
Happy investing.